And then, of course,
live streaming is on.
Major praise to Edu. Edu is fucking killing it. And we're going to have a demo with global vesting and the whole 9 yards that I'm hoping, especially the Costa Rica team, can start to play with and test out before Damnode uses it, before we use it. So, yeah, and I'll pass it to Marco. Oh, you already went. Nope. I'll pass it to James.
Hi, everybody. Yes, praise. Are we doing praises or? I'm a little bit stressed out and exhausted. So I've been working hard today, trying to do like last minute changes on the DApp. Otherwise, I'm pretty good. I'm happy we're moving forward. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. Praises to you all. Blessings, and I pass it to who hasn't gone yet.
Yeah. You can pass it to my wife over here.
Super.
Marco's lovely wife. Hello.
Nice. Let's see. We've got an Ashley that hasn't gone yet.
I'm here.
Rich.
Okay, I'll just go.
Okay. Go ahead, Ashley.
I think it's so awesome that we went live. So praises to the whole team that made that happen. Excited to test it. And thank you, Griff, for teaching us all the awesome DeFi stuff last night. Getting cake now. That's awesome. And yeah, I'm not really distracted. Interested to see what we're going to talk about and connect with everybody. And Mitch can go next.
Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, praise to everybody. I've been kind of checked out for maybe the last 5 or 6 days, so I'm excited to see what all the progress has been. It looks like there's a lot, so I'm here, no distractions, and ready to get caught up. And I'll pass it back to Danny if everybody's gone.
How about Cam?
Hey, everybody. No big updates. Just checking in and saying hi to everybody, seeing all these beautiful faces and this beautiful. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I'm just going through all this, to go through all the notes, and just a lot of praise to everybody here. I too was reading through Willie's presentation last night, and the story is just phenomenal. So you guys are just kicking butt, and it's just a crazy last 12 months to see it become this far. And I just wanted to share my gratitude and my praise to y'all. No updates though on my end, and just wherever you can use me, I'm ready to help. That's it for me.
Okay.
I left.
Kai, go ahead. Oh no, Kai. Everybody's gone, right?
No,
Just
Mina.
Amin too.
Oh, Amin.
I will go after you. After you. Yeah.
No, you go ahead. Go.
Ah, okay. Hi everyone. I don't used to come to governance meeting, but it's fun. It's great. Everyone is here, and I want to praise everyone, especially James for his research and to adapting the best tech stack, and also Willie for his research and providing the info for using the best infrastructure for developing. And yeah, and everyone who tests our applications, they are not tested well. Just that. I pass it to Danny.
Awesome. All right, so I'm just checking in. Excited to take this governance call to a new level this week. I have our clean agenda. I've been gathering the topics from what we have. You can see the ones that I've collected below. Praise to especially James, Willie, and Kai, who have just been all over everything, answering each other and coming up with great proposals. and ideas for us to work through on our governance agenda today. Praise to Griff for sharing all that amazing information with us last night and sharing his bathtub time. And my agenda items are here because I made the agenda. So just take a look at this real quickly. If anybody here has any concerns with anything that's on it that maybe we don't need to talk about it, or if you have anything to add to the agenda, please let me know now. And if there's no objections to our current agenda, we'll dive right into it.
I'll just add 2 topics, but I can type it in Notion while you go for it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so our first item that we have up is that Giveth is now just Giveth. I kind of like that. I like saying it. It's just Giveth at giveth.io. So the big question that we have to ask ourselves is, and I'm going to go ahead and own this one. I created a poll over in the governance channel on Discord. Thank you to Kai for helping me with the simple poll. So we have A through G as different ideas that have been suggested right now. If you want to jump over there and take a look at that poll and cast your vote, whether you like Giveth Gold, Giveth Plus, Giveth More, which is an abbreviation I forgot to put the letters in there for. We have D, which is the front runner right now, Giveth Trace for Transparent Accountability Edition, Giveth OG, Original Giveth, Giveth Pro, and Giveth EXP or Expert. So if you will all cast your votes there now, it looks like Giveth Transparency and Accountability Edition, Giveth Trace, is going to be our winner. So, poll found on governance. Does anybody have any concerns with this name? Oops. With Giveth Trace, is there anything should we do a round and get some feelings shared about this? How about popcorn? Does anybody have anything burning that they need to share? Or if you love it and you're excited about Giveth Trace being the name for our beta, give us some jazz fingers. I don't see a lot of jazz fingers. I only see jazz fingers from Griff.
I'll do some jazz fingers.
I don't know. I think the trace thing kind of puts it in a box to me. It doesn't quite say everything about Giveth, but that's my reservation.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that in there. Yeah, the fact that I didn't see everybody jumping up and down besides me makes me want to hear just a little bit more.
I don't love it, but I can't think of anything better. So, and I do think it's good. I like the acronym, and I think Transparent Accountability Edition does make sense for what the original Giveth is now. So I do like that. I'm curious what Marco is thinking. Marco's saying pick Giveth Trace. Do you have like a logo in mind or something, Marco?
No, I don't. It's just like the Transparent Accountability Edition, you know, and then the Trace, the acronym, really, like for me, like that's like the original, the Giveth one, because of like a lot of traceability and everything that is built into that. So I think like that's spot on. Just that, nothing further. And like, you know, Gold and Plus and Pro and Expert, and you know, those are like really not good options for me. I don't think so. So
what about the OG?
The original gangster.
Or just original Giveth. I mean, OG could be original Giveth, not gangster, but
that's fun. That's fun. I mean, yeah, that's fun. But out of all these options, I think like Trace is spot on. And like, you know, if there's a better way to, I don't know, find a better name, as Willie said, maybe it could be a better option. But for now, I think the trace is cool. So yeah, we can leave it like that.
Yeah, if you say Giveth trace, it's trace where it just communicates it and it's over. You know, and I think that's fine. You know, like it's very clear. Why would I use Giveth trace? Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trace
Now I know.
information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, awesome. So I'm
The
kind of
one-
using. Oh, go ahead.
The one thing I want to say is there is a bit. What's it called? Oh my, BitGive has give track. So just I think it's okay. I think Giveth trace is far enough away, but there is a little bit there. Like they have like, I think it's called give track.
Yeah, and also yeah, another thing, like I don't think that's a problem. I mean, track, trace. There's so many companies out there that have similar names or you know stuff. But one thing though, that like if this is like Giveth trace, that maybe implies that the current like Giveth right now is not transparent and accountable, or is less transparent and accountable.
I was kind of thinking that that was my initial thing. Is like what it gives us. It implies that there's the difference, and I don't know. That was my knee jerk.
Yeah,
It is.
That's a good point, actually.
So it really is though. Without milestones, we don't have the depth to actually show transparency and accountability. And in the future, when
Give it deep.
and if people want it and want to go there, then we probably wouldn't need Giveth trace anymore, because Giveth itself would be traceable.
Yeah, the question is, the bigger fundamental question is, why are we working on a project that has less functionality?
Because it's easier and people couldn't use the OG version.
But then do you think the average user, or like, because you can make it as simple as Giveth 2 just as easily as you can make it Giveth 1. Like, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but
So it's still all Giveth, and Giveth offers Giveth trace if you want to go the next mile as a project. The donor, it doesn't really change the experience. For donors, they give, if they care, if they want traceable donations, then they only give to projects who opt in to Giveth trace. I think in the end, Giveth will be the donation front, and hopefully Giveth trace would be the the project has to opt in to this, and it's a lot of work to opt into it. So it's still there. It's not like we don't offer traceable donations. Giveth still offers traceable donations. It's just the projects have to opt into that, and some projects will and some projects won't. That's how I would sell it, at least.
Yeah. All right. So I think the decision we have right now is Giveth trace. And the next steps are to take what we've kind of just discussed and write something about it. And this is already part of the marketing team plan. So we'll take that to marketing. Does anybody have any final thoughts around the naming?
Is it what domain is it going to live on? Same domain or different domain?
That's a great question.
I think that is part of the whatever we choose should become the subdomain.
Yeah, right now it's still on beta. It's going to stay on beta until we get it stable enough to feel comfortable not calling it beta. Which I'm hoping is a month, right? I mean, like,
it depends on the functionality. If you don't want to add anything, just like recipient, just like subscribing on, yeah, it should be available in the month if we don't lose any development again. Yeah.
If we don't lose our new front end developer, a month looks good. And then and I assume it would just be, instead of beta.giveth.io, it'd be trace.giveth.io, right?
I would like to add a contender for the name. For me, like Giveth 1 is about results-based finance. So I would propose results, like Giveth results. Just an idea. Like that.
That's cool. I just had another idea too, thinking of like the subdomain, made me think of like info.giveth. I know a lot of people go to like app.uniswap and then info.uniswap, and you get kind of more information. It's a little more advanced and stuff, but it becomes, you know, I go to info.uniswap all the time.
The result sounds very much like a status page or the after fact, which kind of is. So I do think there's something there also with info as well.
Whatever we do, I hope the Giveth 1 devs can also have like a voice in the matter. You know, like the call's in an hour. So if you guys have like a top 2 or 3, then maybe we give them the agency to make the final call.
That sounds great. Cool. All right. I really appreciate all of your thoughtfulness and coming up with this and working through to where we could get a decision made today. So our next item on the agenda came from discussion in the Giveth 2 dev chat this morning. James, Kai, and Willie were hacking away and identified a concern around project onboarding and how do we know we don't want to curate. We're not bringing the reviewer process over from Giveth 1. However, we do need to have a way to somehow verify the project and make sure it's not a scam, or report projects that we think are, and then hide the ones that have been determined or to be disqualified. I feel like, which of you was just chatting with Kevin? Was that you, Willie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you mind giving a little overview and I'll put the notes in?
Sure. So James initially proposed basically us having the ability to disable projects, which my initial gut reaction was like, I don't want Giveth to have to take on that responsibility. And I was thinking about, you know, cases in the future where there could be like some sort of controversial project, and ideally we would not even have the ability to, you know, no one would expect us and wouldn't even have the ability to block these projects, is what I was thinking. But I definitely hear the concern that, especially like if we have these imposter projects, and that's what Kevin from Gitcoin was saying is the biggest, or the projects that clearly need to get disabled are the ones that are just someone being an imposter, pretending to be somebody else. Like you said, there's no use case for that, right? And clearly we don't want Giveth to be enabling these scams. So what I was thinking initially is like, ideally we wouldn't have this responsibility. Potentially, one way that we could still take, one route we could take is having new projects be unverified and having some kind of warning on them. And then if you do like a bright ID or do some level of verification, then we could take off that unverified flag. But that might not be the best MVP solution. Another option is like we could have verified users who are verified with bright ID report these projects, and that could even be us initially. We could be the verified people who are reporting these projects. But I also don't know if that's an MVP solution. So one of the things I wanted to do is ask Kevin how they're handling this at Gitcoin, and Kevin shared how they're doing it. He shared a blog post, which is pretty cool, on some of the examples of like in the past rounds, actual projects that they've had to delist and why, which is super, super helpful. So yeah, I think they have some good wisdom. I think James is spot on with his initial idea of, at least for MVP, just being able to us having the ability to hide projects that are fraud, that are obvious fraud. And then I love the idea of us working to decentralize that responsibility. And we could probably learn a lot from how Gitcoin's doing it. I don't like it long term. Sorry, go ahead.
Long term, there is a decentralized court on XDAI called Celeste that will already be implemented for our conviction voting DAO. So we could probably implement it into the projects piece, and Gabby would have no trouble doing that. I don't know that it necessarily needs to be there for MVP. Probably shouldn't be. But long run, we can kind of have a reporting mechanism. And since we have give tokens being staked behind projects, that can also be slashed. We could burn the give tokens if it's a fraudulent project, right? And we can have a decentralized court actually, decide to burn those tokens. But that's long run. Short term, I like the report and hide.
So the decentralized court is going to be through an external party, or is it going to be within ourselves?
So,
are you talking about using the XDAI court, or is that something else?
It would be a one hive court. It's called Celeste, and we will have it. We will have it for conviction voting anyway, where it's kind of a similar thing, where if a proposal, for instance, someone makes a proposal, hey, anyone who votes for this, move all the DAO money to this address, which is a smart contract that splits the money between anyone who votes yes on this proposal, right? This is the classic like DAO conundrum. How do you stop an invalid proposal that is in everyone's best interest to vote yes on? So the solution is you have terms and conditions, and you have an external party that validates those terms and conditions, and this external party uses Celeste and uses the honey token so that anyone can basically make a bet and say, hey, I challenge this proposal, and they can put money on it. And then if this other person doesn't put money up as well, then they lose and the thing gets taken down.
So in order to interact with this court, we need to have honey rather than give?
In order to challenge, well, you can make it so what we could do is we could say, listen, to propose on Giveth, you have to have a give token. You put one give token up. We could do that and make a deposit. Now, that's not necessarily preferable, but could happen. It wouldn't be the end of the world. And then that deposit could be the thing that the person who challenges it gets. And the court, usually it doesn't go up to the court because someone will just put honey down. They would have to use honey to challenge a proposal, like someone who says, hey, this is Common Stack, like donate to this Common Stack project. That's not Common Stack. I would put honey down and say, that's not Common Stack. And then, the person would have to also put honey up and say, yes, it is. And then the court would decide who gets the other person's money if the challenge is, qualified.
Okay.
But this is past MVP, so I feel like I'm wasting our time talking about it.
Okay. So what can we do? MVP, the short term, is have the ability to flag a project as suspect, and then somebody has to review it and hide it.
Yeah, I would say, it might not just be fakers, right? Like it could be some real shitty person doing some real shitty thing, right? So, we probably need to act, like the ability to act quickly. Like maybe we need, we're in the process of bridging. We will soon be bridging when a new project is added into Discord, so that there will be a channel there that when a project is added, it can pop up there. And then I would say everyone and anyone should probably have a look at those notifications when they happen. And maybe we need like 1 to 3 people who are responsible for getting something taken down, with a clear way of doing that, basically. And if you guys agree with that, then I'm happy to talk to the guys and figure out what the process would be for that, and then let you guys know. Yeah, I think like that's a minimum, probably. Like in general, like we could have a more democratic process for deciding like less controversial things, but I think like we should probably have a plan in case of emergency in place to like quickly remove things that are obviously not cool.
Absolutely. Is there an index for each project? Is it a number or is it just their address? Is that the index basically?
Like an ID or something. There's definitely an ID in the database. As to how we display it, I think it's probably there's a slug. There's like a compressed version of the title of the project, right? But like, I mean, anyone could copy the URL, like the address in the browser, and like that could be something that's used to identify a project.
I imagine it's just a GitHub issue. Hey, this project looks shitty. Block it, please. Like, they're doing bad stuff.
And on that note, we should probably come up with some guidelines on what shitty is, basically. So like, if a project's a fraud, if we don't like their profile picture, no, obviously not that, but just figuring out what those rules are, and maybe even publishing those like in our terms.
Okay. Who on this call is interested or feels like because of their role they need to be a part of defining the procedure, both in the back end and on the front end and notification? I'll say I'm game to participate in that myself.
Yeah, in terms of how to actually execute that, like that anyone can do it, like I would probably be, yeah, I mean, I'm game to be a part of that, figuring that out basically from a technical perspective.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else feel called for this?
I think we need someone to definitely step up and write quick terms and conditions and make people agree to them when they post their project. I think Willie is dead on. That's really the solution, is that we have terms and then they agree to them and then they violate them. So we take them off the website. Like, it's very fair.
Okay. I'll just take this for now and we can work on it a little bit more without keeping everybody's attention on it. Unless anyone has something burning to add on this item, we can move to, oh, I didn't copy them all. The next subject is email account sign up. So this was also a conversation in the dev chat. Oh, here we go. Project owner email account on sign up. Should we be requiring collecting an email address? I just realized I put that in the wrong place. James, how are you feeling? I know you were a little worn out. Do you want to discuss this one a little bit, or Kai maybe?
Yeah. So basically, this is coming from that. Yeah, I mean, like, how do we communicate with project owners, right? Like, we have an immediate requirement that we want to be able to notify a project when their listing goes live. And how do we actually communicate with them? Like, we could do it through a Discord notification, or we could do it through whatever, but practically email is actually the easiest. And we previously had asked this question of, like, in terms of before we allow people to add projects, there's a certain amount of information about them that we want to have, right? That we've at least verified them to be a human somehow, right? Like, the best we came up with is like requiring their name, or I can't remember exactly what criteria we came down with. And so what we're proposing now is to add the necessity for an email on top of this, so that, like, you cannot post and create a project unless you've given us an email address at least as well. And this would allow us to communicate with them at a minimum. And also, yeah, it just seems to make sense, basically, practically speaking. We do allow people to register with MetaMask, which doesn't have an email address, which is why we were not requiring this before. But
notifications are so awesome. I know they're not in our MVP scope, really, but like the email notification, so you can tell someone, hey, someone just donated to your campaign. Hey, someone just staked because we had your campaign. oh my God, people love you. Giveth is awesome, right? We gotta be able to tell them all these good things that are happening for them.
So you're saying with email, or?
Email is the default, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
cool.
think we're going to get their signal number, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, I mean, notifications for me is, I generally think of like web browser notifications or Discord, like live notifications or whatever. But yeah, I'm working on email now, basically, which is what's got me in a crunch. So it should be possible to get this done today, hopefully.
Ashley and Hadi and those guys, when we do get to the notification space, they have a lot of experience. So
cool.
Can too, and yeah, once if we use Segment, that is one of the cool things about Segment is that if we just set up events for all these things that we want to track and notify, we just track them once, we get them on all our analytics tools, and then we can use Autopilot or whichever tool you guys are comfortable with for triggering notifications. We can send every type of notification imaginable just using that Segment event, and then only code it one time.
Sounds good.
All right, so I'm hearing the general consensus from everybody who's spoken so far is yes, we're going to make email required. Is there anyone who has any objection to requiring email that we should be considering? Proposal passed.
It's not for donors, right? Just for projects.
It's not for donors.
Correct.
No.
Okay, thank you. I'll make that clarification.
It might be nice to somehow incentivize people who donate to give their email address in the future so that we can create a relationship with them.
Yeah, even if you had it where it was like just so they can be updated in a way as like things happen, it would feel very natural if the language around it was for updates on where their money's. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We do have I think a CTA right after you donate that's like sign up to associate this donation with your account, right? Or am I just imagining that?
I think we do. Yeah, I think we do.
We built so much, it's hard to.
I'm just looking at the screens in the Figma, but I can't find it. Hold on a second. I don't have it in Figma, but if someone put it live, then I guess we have it. Otherwise, I can put it there. I'm only seeing download receipt, view transaction details, and then stay a giver, register an account. So there's the call to action to that one. So they can register an account, and when they do, they will probably supply their email address. Or we can add a CTA saying, hey, do you want to receive updates about this project? You know, give us your email address. That's all.
And then would we provide those email addresses to the clients or have some sort of like get point service? Sorry, to the projects?
No, I guess like whenever a project submits a new update, when there's a new update of the project itself, the donors will get notified like automatically. And then obviously they can then turn it off in that email, like, you know, unsubscribe from those updates and stuff like that.
All right, guys, we're at 9:42, which leaves us with about 18 minutes. I see a new agenda item was inserted into the agenda about a give token and do we care? I'm just going to guess that since it's inserted in this spot, we want to make sure we talk about it.
Yeah, I just don't think that it's worth, I feel like it would be silly not to at least bring it up. Although I think the other give token is small enough that and outside of our domain enough that we could just power through it. But there is a token with the GIV ticker. It's like 1,300 on CoinGecko.
There's the gift token. Yeah, I don't think we should care because there are many other tokens out there, like duplicates, where you recognize them by you recognize your token, the one that you're looking for, by like either something in brackets, like full name, written, or the icon is different. So I mean, there are many duplicates. So I don't think we should care. I mean, I don't care.
I don't care.
United. I'm looking at their website right now. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have any trouble, and they're not really part of the Ethereum community. So, as far as I could tell, so at least it's separate enough. It's not like, yeah, it's more of an EOS wax kind of a play. So, anyway, that's it. Just want to make sure if there's any objections. But.
Okay. I don't hear any objections. So let's jump into the marketing support. So we paid for the 2020 contract for Bloom's network support for us. We have a new proposal up for review. Forrest is actually heading this up. Well, I haven't seen Forrest on our call yet. I don't know who fellow spacer is though. So I'm just going to leave a few minutes here to see if anybody has anything they want to share on how we feel about continuing to have them do our especially social media management. Magenta already has our Twitter, our Medium, seems to be doing a great job with that, and is open to negotiation to make sure we feel good about that contract and get good membership benefits out of the deal as well from Bloom. I will mention that Bloom is now a guild within Metagame, which is awesome, and we want to follow that course as well. So I personally am a fan of continuing and keeping that consistency going for a little bit longer. Just want to see how you guys feel, if there's any objections. Cool. Okay, the other agenda item that has been added in here is testing the liquidity mining and global vesting this week. Who wants to speak on this?
Yeah, so Edu is just killing it, and we're going to try to launch hopefully, maybe Thursday, a UI that includes the global vesting concept. We'll be using the model, but it'd be really nice to have everyone here at least play with it. It'll be on XDAI, and if you need some XDAI and the cart, basically I'll get the info of how to set it up, but I'm curious. The way it'll be set up is every day will represent a month, and we'll do 12 days of testing so we can see how it would work over the course of a year in 12 days. And we'll feel for the vesting, like how tokens are unlocked, and we'll get a feel for liquidity mining. And yeah, I think it'll be really fun. But I'm curious how many people will be around on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday to play with it. I know that's not normally Costa Rica.
I mean, I'm available.
I'm available.
I'm in quarantine, so whatever you want. I'm there.
I'm pretty good. It looks like we've added some marketing stuff in on Fridays for this next few weeks. I think I have one meeting that's not on my calendar, but I'm pretty open for that, and I would like to be a part of it. So starting this Thursday for 12 days, is that what I heard?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and then at least you'll see what it'd be like over the course of a year. The other thing is that DAppNode has not announced their token yet. They'll announce it on Wednesday or Thursday, but it'd be nice if we could have like a closed room in the Giveth channel where I can talk about the DAppNode developments, because they're still a little bit like cautious about talking about the DApp token.
Okay, can we make that an action item to set that up for that private channel? Kaya, I know you're kind of doing that. I see you typing somewhere else.
Yeah. Payment is not as smooth as we thought, and so we fixing stuff in the back. Please give us an hour after this call. It should work later. Can you repeat the question, please? I was a bit distracted.
Can I get a closed room that I can add people to in the Giveth channel for DApp node liquidity mining details and stuff like that, so I can be a little bit more open about their plans, which are also our plans, but they have a little bit tighter of a. They don't want it to leak. So I just need a closed room in Discord that I can add people to that are willing to do testing.
So will you give them? You have the admin rights, right? So we make you a role and you give them the role. Do you know how to do it?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Name?
The name? Let's call it DApp. Maybe even. I mean, it'd be cool to have a bridge channel with DApp node in the Discord. Is it? But I guess that. And then it'd be closed on both sides and then reopened. That's the dream? But
sure. I am already on their server bridging stuff, so it's fine. We just need their buy-in from their side. And let's take this to like a DM.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Thanks, Kai.
Awesome. Okay, so with 10 minutes left on our time that we have booked, the last item we wanted to talk about is the monthly payout process flow. So Willie is still owning this and handling it, and maybe this can be a smaller subgroup conversation on how we can DAOify more and take some of that responsibility off Willie's shoulders. Anybody want to be a part of that conversation with me and Willie? I'm going to guess Forrest is probably going to be in that.
I also have to give these payments all the time, and I'm so confused on if I paid people or not, and so disorganized. So it'd be great to be a part of that as well.
Yeah,
okay.
And me too. I wanna say that my payments, of course, is happening to fiat, but eventually I want it to be in crypto for sure. It's just something momentarily, but for now that process is also not very efficient. So maybe we can check on that as well and give traceability of all of that. And maybe we can build a front end for it or using the Aragon DAO or just to keep what payments have been going or what's the process of all of that. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Mateo.
Know that I've been talking with Brian and I always remind him by the 28th, but they can be a little bit slow. For example, by now that payment is still not up. So maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure how to fix that. That's what I try to say.
Okay. Well, we don't have to know how to fix it right now, just that we need to fix it. So I'll put this on my party. I've been working with Brian on a few things, but they definitely have a lot going on right now with some investment rounds that just took place, and also with the development of they're developing a tool that's going to meet all of these needs. It's just not here yet. So.
Yeah.
All right. I really love the concept of finishing meetings early.
I have a quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just realized something. Just since we're all together here, I will need some text for the emails that go out to people when they, I guess when they confirm themselves to add a project or when they've added a project, and when the project's going live. So I don't know if there's someone that feels they have space or bandwidth for this, they could reach out to me and help.
Cody and I have been developing text for the emails for Giveth 1, and so we probably have some stuff that we can use there too.
Cool. So when one of you or both of you will talk to me?
How about a GitHub issue?
I can create a GitHub issue. Should I invite both of you to it?
That would be wonderful.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Any other closing comments, thoughts, questions popping into your head? Other than, oh my goodness, we need to go over and work on testing and fixing. All right, unicorn power.
Great work on the soft launch, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, so like a soft as cheese launch, but we'll try to get firmer.
Listen, if there aren't bugs in the soft launch, you waited too long.
It's flaccid now. It will be. Let's stop.
All right, if for any reason you guys want to stay on and keep hacking on stuff in this channel, maybe we just stop live streaming.